Nick, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
How's it going, my dude?
Good, man. Just as I always kind of say, just existing, just trying to just exist.
Just exist. Well, for someone that works as hard as you, dude, we're gonna get into that in a little bit. Just existing sounds pretty accurate. I wouldn't know, but it sounds pretty accurate. You do a lot.
Yeah, man. I used to just be a tuber boy, and then just over the years expanded to a super professional TikTok reactor, to meme on Twitch, to pretending to still actually be a musician and play guitar sometimes when I feel like it. Yeah.
Well, let's. We always start these episodes the exact same way. I like to say I tried to give you a little bit of an intro before the intro music kicked in. Usually I botch those anyway. So in your own words, if you can, introduce yourself to the tribe.
I am the metal dude on the internet that makes the weird faces. There you go.
that makes the weird faces is is the important part.
Absolutely.
But you're a YouTuber. I just say content creator because you're all over the place. It's not really a YouTuber anymore. Your Instagram game is up. Twitch game is insane. You're all over the place. So I just say content creator. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like growing up as like a guitarist, mainly and a musician, I feel like even in that kind of every guitarist and musician wants to be known as like a super professional musician and a like legit guitarist and stuff. So like it's funny when I grew up with that shit, but then like I'm still like, nah, dude, like I'm very aware that people know me from YouTube. Like I'm not gonna fake for a second and be like, no, people know me because of my beautiful workings in Termina with the guitar. Like no, like I know people know me more so from like the YouTube stuff and just making fun videos. So content creator is probably the best description.
I actually had to think a little bit about that because making your the lower third that pops up on your screen, I wrote musician because digging deeper into your history and the little bit of research I did before the show, it's never not been about music. So even the content creation itself has always been about the music, and I thought the best description would be even Julian, shout out to Julian Gerla, was saying like musician that makes content. It's a musician first. Is that how you identify yourself? If someone has no idea what you're doing and hasn't seen any of your stuff, would you start with musician or would you say YouTube first?
I would say YouTube because I know that's what is more realistic. I guess I'm more of a realist with that. But I, at heart, man, like I started all of this because of music and because of writing and because of guitar. And to this day, I feel like if I didn't write music, or if I didn't play guitar, I wouldn't have got this far. I need that to keep me doing the other stuff. So I feel like even if I don't do it as much as I spend time doing content creation like YouTube and Twitch and Instagram or whatever, it means more still. Regardless, but I know, like I said, people probably would know me more as just the weird dude on the internet that makes the faces and listens to metal tracks. So I'm cool with that.
Let's take that back. Let's go back all the way to the first time you fell in love with music. I know music and video gaming had a massive crossover for you back in the day.
Huge. Well, the music part was more so my cousin. Like I was ties to the gaming, I guess, but we would just be in his room playing WoW all day or playing video games, like a couple of professional kids, like just having fun, coming home from school, hating it, and playing some video games the whole fucking day. No complaints. And he would have music going like Alexis on Fire, some Avenged Sevenfold, As I Lay Dying, Under Oath. And at first I was terrified of that shit because I was like, what's screaming? I'm like 7, right? I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then I just grew to love it and adapt to it. And he would always have music playing. And then from there, it stemmed into Guitar Hero existing. And then, he got that. And I was like, oh, this looks really fun. So we played Guitar Hero and I fell in love with it, which led to logically me wanting to play guitar. And then the whole journey kind of started from that. But yeah, it really stemmed from just playing video games with my bro and listening, and him just putting on music just in general, really.
I think just based on the age and the age you mentioned and the bands you mentioned, I might guys, chat, don't make fun of me. I might be a little bit older. Just a smidge, not that much, just a day or two. But it's crazy to me that the amount of people that I've talked to that have become full-fledged musicians because of that game. There we go. Did everything explode again? Is this the Twitcheroonies?
Feeling.
Exactly. You the glance, all the screens. I just have to go. What was wrong? Okay, that's the one. But the amount of musicians that have come out playing guitar because of that game still blows my mind. But they all have with this one thing in common, where it's one particular song that made them go, "This is fun, but I want to try this on a 6-string instrument."
Gotcha. Yeah, for me, shit, it was a journey. I really don't know if it was one song. I played through every song pretty decently. The ones that just my brain connects to the most, I think, would be Guns N' Roses' "Sweet Child of Mine." And
nice.
Probably, I guess, "Through the Fire and Flames," just because of how impressive, like, just how crazy it was. Like that one, less so me wanting to pick up a guitar and play it, because it was like, no, I could never play that on guitar. The Guns N' Roses was more so me, I guess, thinking like, oh, it would be cool, like, if I could actually play this on guitar, because it was not realistic for me to think I could ever play Dragon Force, right? So I think that is the best one I can remember. But it really was like just playing the whole catalog, I think. That was like, this is fucking sick. I want to do this.
Yeah. And you mentioned your cousin was a big part of it. Was he just someone that listened to music, or were they a musician as well, or how did that work?
He played guitar and he sung a bit. He does it in and out throughout the years now. But yeah, he was doing that a lot more when he was younger. Nothing to a crazy extent really with the guitar. But he could play, like chords. He could play like classic rock songs and stuff, and he was good. He was good at what he did, and that definitely helped inspire it further as well. Yeah,
it was the need or the spark to start writing there from the beginning, or was it just like, listen, I'm gonna try to figure out how to play this Guns N' Roses fucking song, and then the next song, and there wasn't like was the premise of being a original musician there from the beginning?
No, not even being a musician. None of that. It was just, I like guitar and fun. Like, that was the mindset. It took me a long time to want to write, and even when I was writing, I wasn't like, oh, I want to be a musician or like be in a band. I was essentially, I would play guitar for a while, and I would start to learn these songs. And I was just having so much fucking fun, because it was my life. It was play video games and play guitar. Like I didn't have any, even to later in my teens, like I didn't have any aspirations to really do much. I knew I wanted to be something. I wanted to make something of my life, but I never knew what that was. I knew I hated fucking a lot of the corporate stuff. I hated school. And the only thing that just made me happy was playing guitar and playing video games. And that was still coming from the generation where it was still like kind of frowned upon. It wasn't like now where it's like every kid and their mom sees Ninja streaming, and then they're like, mom, see Ninja makes like $10 million a month. Like that wasn't a thing still when I was kind of growing up. So I just loved guitar. I loved music, and it weirdly just all stemmed so naturally without any end goal or anticipation of what I wanted to do with it or grow it into. I just was like, oh, these are fun to play. And then I would see people like Killer Buckeye or a few other YouTuber guys that were doing guitar covers start to do original music. And I was like, that's fucking sick. I want to try that, basically.
Was it the Ola England era?
Yes.
6 years ago?
Yeah. Ola England, Killer Buckeye, Angel Vivaldi, Shades of Black, who doesn't do anything anymore, but man, that guy was fucking good at what he did, and he was really good at writing music. I don't know what happened to him, but I gotta do something with him. Hopefully, maybe if he's still alive. I don't know. It was that, and then that made me want to write music. And again, from there, it was just this very chill, natural, like, guitar's fun. Ooh, music looks fun. I want to try to do that, like writing it, and being like, oh, how do you do this? Well, you got to learn how to record. Like, here's Cubase. Okay. And like struggling and just YOLOing it and learning as you go, right? And then from there being like, ooh, like drums, like, oh, what's this? At first when I programmed drums, I used my mouse, like not like to like if real time. It's like
not clicking into the MIDI thing. You actually played on the mouse. Okay.
Yep. That's how I did it. I didn't know how to like program drums or anything. So I do things like that. I never would include cymbals because I didn't know what that was. Right? It was a lot of just fucking. I like this. Learn as you go. Really as pure as that. And the only thing I ever had lessons for was guitar when I started, like for a year or two, which he helped me like learn modes and stuff, which was great. He was a great teacher. But in terms of like expanding into, a lot of what I know now, it's that stuff I learned along the way with learning songs. And yeah, went to writing music, learning how to program drums, learning how to program what bass was, like really basic things that like if you're a musician, right? When you're younger, you want to be in a band, because you're around it, right? How do you create a song with band members? Well, you write a guitar riff, and you see the drummer do something, and then the bassist does something, and the vocalist responds to it, right? So I found it through a really different kind of pathway, I guess, but still kind of the same end goal of figuring it all out. And then from there, it was like, oh wow, like I'm kind of writing some fun stuff for myself now. Really, I'm not writing it for anyone else other than just for myself. And learning songs, and I still see these guys like covering stuff on YouTube. I want to try to do that. So I got like a shitty little fucking camera, filmed, and it was terrible, and just uploaded it. And that it just what started the YouTube stuff, and anything that extends from there. Whether I learned along the way of marketing or video editing or Photoshop, right? Every other thing was just when I got to it, I'd either see someone do it and be like, that's cool, I want to know how to do that. And you just go, you try. I don't know. You look at YouTube, are there tutorials, right? Can I conceptually understand how he got from there to there? Can I just figure it out like it's a puzzle? I didn't have anyone there telling me like, oh yeah, Nick, like this is how you video edit. Oh yeah, you're supposed to get like this camera, Nick, or like, oh yeah, like this is how you use Photoshop. Like I didn't fucking have someone sitting there telling me this shit. It was along the way. Oh, I want to do that. Figure it the fuck out and do it the best I can. I didn't care if it was the most professionally done the first time. I just cared that I did it. And I think that's the biggest issue a lot of creative minds have when they want to try to delve deeper in their hobby is they're so scared what people are going to think or how it's going to turn out. I just wanted it out there. I didn't give a fuck. I was just like,
oh, dude.
Yeah.
Jack Conte, I think his name is the CEO of Patreon, had this amazing talk where he's like, if you guys think as content creators and artists and musicians that you're in the finishing business, you're already on the losing side of the coin. You're in the publishing business. Just publish as much as you can because you'll learn along the way, and through that you'll find your audience instead of waiting for it to be perfect, kind of thing. And I relate to that in my story as well, because I really liked writing music, but I never cared what instrument I played. So I have that jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing where I could hold the guitar, play bass, hold the beat, and scream, but I just like creating and instead of like focusing on the one thing and trying to figure that out. But where does that drive come from for you? Because millions of people played Guitar Hero, millions more picked up a guitar during that same period. Not many of them have the audience. Not many of them are releasing music. Not many of them are doing that kind of stuff. Where does that like dedication and drive come for you?
Well, I think it ties to my lack of purpose or wanting. It sounds kind of fucked up, I guess, but it ties to that. Like when I was younger, like lack of purpose. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I thought I was just going to be somebody that exists and has a job, and that's it. Like I didn't have anything. And but what I did know is playing music made me happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just fucking went with it, and I still finished like my degrees in school, even though it's basically toilet paper for me now, because I'll never fucking use it for anything. But yeah, it really was just like, this is the only thing that makes me happy. You know, like I wasn't a dude with a lot of friends when I was younger. I'd have like a friend here and there, which was great, and I had my cousin, but I wasn't a dude that was like, hey dude, let's go fucking party and get lit with some joints, bro. Like I wasn't that guy. I was the dude who went to school, fucking hated it, went home, and that's it. You know, like I just got what I needed to get done, and went home, and didn't do any extracurricular stuff. None of that. I really didn't. I just didn't like it, and I don't know. It was a weird feeling, but all I knew is I was happy when I was writing, and nothing gave me more satisfaction than writing something and hearing it back. I didn't give a fuck if anyone else heard it. Just like hearing it back and being like, holy shit, I made that. It was like a high. Like it was a crazy feeling to me. And I think I just always chased that. You know, I never thought I would make it my life like I have. Yeah. And I never expected to, because when I grew up, you know, I grew up in still the era where, you know, my mom would be like, you're not, you know, I'd be like, hey mom, like I like guitar, and she'd be like, you're not going to be homeless, right? You know, like that.
I was just going to ask that. There's a 2-step process to the content creation route. There's the one where you upload your first couple of videos. You're like, this is fun. Let me do this for fun more often. And then there's the switch where you're like, this is what I do now. And I wanted to ask about both of those steps. Like the first couple of videos up, and I like the reaction. There's a couple of people commenting, versus I'm gonna do this. This is what I do now. I'm gonna give this a shot. But also, not only just your perspective, how was family and friends reacting to this?
Yeah. So when my mom at first, she's a fun one. I love her. She told me when I was younger and I liked metal music, she didn't sleep for like a week. Because, you know, she comes from the stereotypes of, metal is all about drugs and fucking demons and prison shit. And I'm like, the fuck, you know, maybe in her time, I don't know. But yeah, she came with that mindset. And same thing with like guitar. Oh, you're going to be a homeless musician, right? So she was like, she basically said, as long as you're always in school, like I don't give a fuck what you do, but you're going to finish your fucking degree. And you're going to be able to pay the bills. Right. Yeah. I was like, okay, because again, when I was younger, I never thought I wasn't like that typical, like, dude, I can't wait to be in a band. Like that's a question I know I get a lot is like, oh, like why don't you have a band? Why weren't you in a band when you were younger? Which I had like little high school fun bands. Right. But I never wanted to be like, hey, let's be in a band and tour. Like, I really didn't even enjoy that mindset for some reason. Like I just didn't like that idea. I like home, you know? And I never thought you could make like a career out of it. So I never had the mindset, and I was just like, fuck it. And yeah, so my mom was just basically do that and like, whatever, like she was okay with it. And yeah, other than that, like my family was like supportive and fun. It's definitely a different world for most of them, because it's just like there's some people in my family that are musically very talented. Like my mom plays piano and stuff. And it's funny, I actually didn't know a lot of that stuff until I got older. She'd be like, hey, like, you know, like I play piano and stuff. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like 18. Like, why didn't I know? You know, and apparently like my great uncle was some really crazy orchestra violin player. And I was
you got that in common. You play violin as well, don't you?
When I was in high school, because I wanted an easy grade, yeah, because he couldn't take guitar, so I was like, "Fuck it, like strings. It's a guitar, right? Strings? Nope. It's violin and all that stuff." But I was like, you know what? I basically just went to my teacher. She knew, like, I wasn't an idiot with music. She just knew I didn't like playing these instruments. So she was like, just come to class and basically and like bring your guitar for like the tests, she said. And she was like, and I'll just fucking get you like, you'll get an A, like I don't care, right? She was pretty nice about that. But yeah, my family was supportive but cautious, if that makes sense, basically. And yeah, and it was weird to me because again, like I wasn't even like sitting there like, hey mom, when I grow older I want to be in a band, and I never even said those words to her, I think. But yeah, it was an interesting journey with that. And then I would just always upload. Like it wasn't like oh, now I'm a content creator. That took a long time. It was really just, this is fun. I'm happy. Like, I remember the first time I uploaded a song to SoundCloud, which is, by the way, like the OG thing I would do even before YouTube. And I like saw the first person comment and I was like, is this real? Like, is this another person?
Someone outside of my bubble knows something?
Yeah. And they were like, dude, sick riff. And I was like, holy shit. Like that was the craziest thing I ever heard in my life. And it was like, I was so shocked. Because until then I would just write it for myself, and to see other people listen to it and respond was so awesome. I fucking loved that feeling. And it just expanded from there, and then into YouTube, and wanting more of that feeling and loving music and that. And then when it became like, oh, like this is like actually what I do now, it was really late. And even before that, fun story, which a lot of people don't really know, I didn't make money on YouTube for 3 years. Like, I can look at my AdSense payments. I made 50 cents, I think, a month in 2017 or something from AdSense. Yeah, and by then I already had like 500 videos, but they were all covers, so they were demonetized.
They're all demonetized, yeah.
Well, yeah, not demonetized, but copywritten, so they would. The label would get the monetization, right? And yeah, so like I really didn't do it or think I was gonna make a living off doing this stuff. And then
at that time, was there? Because at that time there was the education, at least, of knowing that people did do this. Were you aiming for it? Was it something like, it's 50 cents now, but it might be more?
No, actually, I still wasn't. So I was just starting university, and I was going through it. I was supposed to be a CPA, actually. Funny story. A lot of people don't fucking know that either. Yeah, CPA, Nick, you don't want me doing your taxes. Trust me. And I went to university for it, and halfway through, basically what happened is I was good at business. I love business. Like, I love marketing. I love psychology, which really is just marketing, right? Mm-hmm. And my guidance counselor already took me aside, and he was like, so your grades are great, but you're failing accounting. And that's your major, right? And he's like, why the fuck are you doing this? Basically, like, he was pretty blunt, without swearing though. And I was like, I don't know, because I the only reason I did that is because my mom was an accountant, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life, so I guess I'll do that. That was literally it. And I knew I was pretty good at math, and I like business, so I was like, math, business, accounting, okay. And the big tipping point for me was when he said that. All I could think about is that 20 minutes ago on YouTube, I got a notification that Architects just released Doomsday. And all I could think about is going home and doing a guitar cover for that and not making any money from it. Yeah. And I noticed that as soon as he said that, and all I did was I got kicked out of my honors program. So I got kicked out of accounting, but I still finished like the business program. Yeah. As soon as I know I just got kicked out of my honors program, and all I cared about was going to do a cover, I was like, I think there's something wrong with me. I think I need to change something, right? I think I need to put more focus on something. And from there, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to drop out. I've already fucking wasted half of my time doing this shit, and I hate it. So let's just finish it, So I ended up finishing it. And I remember on graduation, I got my, commerce degree. And my mom was like, what are you going to do next? And I told her, I'm going to, for once, give YouTube my all. Like, I'm just going to go all fucking in. And I'm going to give myself until December. And I think you graduate in like summer or some shit. I don't know, fucking June. And if I can't make if I can't basically pay rent, or make like some money a month, like I'm done. I'll go be a bookkeeper for the rest of my life, and that's it. And December came, and I made just enough money to basically actually like afford rent, which I was living with, my mom still at the time, but I could like help pay rent and all that stuff. Yeah. And I was, and then I just basically at that point she was like, okay. And I never fucking looked back in my entire life since that moment.
Damn, that's a fucking leap of faith though. To just be like, yo, I'm gonna do put all my eggs in this one basket and give myself a deadline.
I needed it because my YouTube was growing, right? Like it's just I wasn't monetizing anything or making money, and I knew I didn't even necessarily care how big it was at the time. I just knew that I wouldn't be happy if I did anything else with my life.
Yeah.
So I said I'd rather be fucking broke and on the street and love what I'm doing at this point than make money and be fucking miserable. So that was the mindset, and I was like, I love this. Fucking YOLO. Go for it. I have a degree to fall back on. I can go get a bookkeeping job, tomorrow probably if I really needed to. I have a decent degree. It's just not an accounting degree, right? And I just went with it, and I never fucking looked back since that day, man.
That's absolutely crazy and fucking inspiring too. I mean, like I said, the amount of the funnel, if you think of it as a funnel, the amount of people that actually played Guitar Hero, ended up playing guitar, ended up uploading videos. There you go. Thank you for the claps, you guys. Ended up uploading, covers to YouTube, which that generation everybody did as well, and then being able to pay rent for the very first time off it after finishing university, and it's a pretty big fucking deal. It must have been a hectic time, I can imagine. During that period.
It was hectic, but I don't think I was ever happier because I just finished. Like, again, I went from going to fucking waking up at, which I know is a normal thing, but waking up at whatever, 8 or 7. And I still wake up at like 10 nowadays. I keep an organized schedule, but like I fucking hate waking up like at 9. I don't know why. Maybe because when I was in school, when I was younger, it was like, it just was so instilled in me that waking up was linked to a bad experience, right? Which was school. That just mentally just fucked me up waking up earlier than 10. But yeah, like just waking up and going to these classes and listening to these fucking professors talk about shit that I don't care about. Like they're basically teaching you how to make other people money. That's all I learned, right? How do you make other people money when you work for them? And I was like, fuck making other people money. I want to make myself money. But even without that, I want to do something I actually fucking care about. I love that. I'm proud to do. And it was so relieving just to be done that. Yeah. That I almost think even during those months, I didn't care if I made it or not. I was just so happy because I didn't have to I was fucking done school, right? And I was like, oh well, if I got to work full time, like fuck it, I'll do that. And I'll do my best. I'll be a fucking lit ass bookkeeper, because no matter what, I know if I'm doing something, I'm still going to put in my 110% because it makes me more miserable if I know I'm slacking it. It's like, no, like even if I'm not a huge fan of it, I'm going to fucking do it right. And school was something I just hated so much. And yeah, I was just so fucking happy during those months. And then they went by, and I consciously during it was like, hey, like let's start teaching, right? Like let's start up lessons. Let's start a Patreon. Like what's merch? Like I've never explored these things, like any of these things. And I just went all in with them, up combined with trying to figure out what AdSense and how to actually, like I started creating original content. And it just ended up, the time came and I was like, oh, I made money. I didn't know you could do that. Like doing this. So I said, fuck it. And I just, like I said, I didn't look back ever since, man.
I think you and I have a common thread where we didn't end up doing the 9 to 5 just because we hated it so much, and I'm not necessarily good at the stuff I do. I just know that I'm bad at the stuff I didn't want to do. I don't know if that makes sense. It's just like, because I've been lucky enough, and I know a lot of people in the chat and know these stories already, but yo, thank you for that sub. I haven't had a 9 to 5. I used to hand out flyers back in high school. That was my first day job kind of thing. And then after that, I just jumped into everything like this. Film production. We started a film company here in Dubai. I'd freelance video editing. I'd do a whole bunch of things. I'd do content creation for other people. But I did everything I possibly can to stay away from the 9 to 5 just because of that mental block of, like you said, like I don't wake up at 9 because it's linked to school. Like I had that same kind of approach to it. And yeah, it's it's very few people that I meet that are like, listen, man, I didn't want to do that, so I did this the best I can.
Yeah, and funny enough, like sometimes I'll even wake up at 7 if like I have to do something for YouTube, and like I don't care. Like I'm like, okay, like I'm excited to wake up. It's like a weird twist, even though like every day, like my schedule is 10 o'clock, get the fuck up, get your shit together, start working basically by like 10:30, 11. And funny enough, even though I don't do 9 to 5, I work longer hours now.
100%. I was just about to say that. Yeah, a lot of people, because you've released 27 videos in the last 30 days. That's just YouTube.
Well, you gotta tell me the stats, man. It makes me.
That's just YouTube, without the Twitch streams and without the Instagram posts and just managing all that shit. So I want to ask you, just for those people that might not know, fucking Ginger, Whitechapel just released a song. You want to do a reaction video, edit it, upload it. What's that process like? And how long does that take?
Depends on all the different types of content, but my funny enough, I was that kid that never had a planner in school and like would like throw it like to the side and lose it, and the teacher would get mad at me. I live by a calendar. Like if my Google calendar breaks, I'm fucked. Like it's over.
if that shit gets hacked, it's gone.
I don't know what I'd do. I live by that. So I'm meticulous with planning everything. And before, I was lucky enough to get label contacts and know when shit now comes out, right? Or had like, followed the right labels and like just been in the right places to know to keep up with news. It was just, this came out today. Okay, go. Like it wasn't, do I do it? It was, Nick, shut the fuck up, go. So it's the same day. And it used to be guitar covers where I would, take the song, learn it, usually within an hour. Like learn it, not like fully play through it like very perfectly or anything, but learn the parts and then get my camera going, just get my tripod, go. There was no waste time. It was, this came out, go. And that whole thing would probably take me an hour to 2 hours for guitar covers, depending on how lazy they were back then. But nowadays, like for like a reaction or a guitar cover of something new, reactions are pretty easy because it's just me sitting there going, hello, and just talking to the camera basically. And I don't do much edits other than zoom ins, which are not very tough or take much time to do.
You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking the actual edits might not take that much time, but you subtitle those fuckers, and I'm just like, how annoying!
I wish I never did that. I fucking wish I never did those. That literally triples the time it takes.
Yeah,
it triples.
When I see them, I'm like, oh, that must be the worst part.
Yeah, it triples the time. I wish I never included those in the first place. And now it's like, if I don't include them, I'm just fucking lazy, and people would tell, right? It's like, I'm just not doing it. So, and I know it adds to it. That's the thing. So, it's painful to do the subtitles. And that turns it into like filming 20 minutes, editing or like arranging the video and getting it all nice set up, 20 minutes, and then subtitles are like 20 to 30 minutes. Fuck. It's like going through the whole video, getting right zooms, and then thumbnail right after. Like then it's upload, make sure that title tags, boom, 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 a lot of copy paste from like my previous reaction in that example, right? But make sure you change the right things, and that's why some people, they'll see like, hey Nick, like, damn, I didn't know this was the new Whitechapel song, and it's like a Ginger song. And I'm like, I copy paste the descriptions to make it quicker, but I have to remember to change, and sometimes I forget. And then thumbnail, which again, I've just gotten a lot better at. It used to take me a lot longer because I just have like a more clean formula. Download the cover photo, or download or like get a perfect screenshot of like the most just visually like stimulating part of the video. That's very iconic. Like if I'm reacting to Bring Me the Horizon, you're going to see Ollie's face.
Yeah.
Done. Like I'm not Blizzard. Like, no, you're going to see Ollie's face because you're going to click on it because you're going to know it's Bring Me, right? Their face, the band logo, my face. And then I edit it really quickly, shadow it properly, cut me out of my, like I'll sit here and do thumbnails for like a minute before I do every video, like, because I don't know if it's going to be like an exciting or like whatever video. So I'll just do a bunch of stupid fucking faces, and I'm not ashamed of that. It's just like, I sit there for a minute and I just do a bunch of faces. Some will be sad or like really happy or like really excited. And then when the video's ended, I'm like, oh, well, what's the perfect like facial reaction to that? And I'll just pick that one and cut it out, basically.
Yeah.
And then just there you go. I put it all together and ship it, and then that's the process for like a reaction. So it's around an hour. When I have to do like when I sometimes have done 3 to 5 of those in one day, I kind of McDonald's it, and I'm proud of this. I've gotten the whole process down to 20 minutes start to finish.
Oh, that's really tight.
Yeah, it's fucked me up though. But for example, when Architects released their album, I reacted to the whole thing. I got that shit down to 20 minutes per fucking video. I was like, fuck yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, usually like if I don't want to die, it takes me like an hour to get that. And then when it comes to like my other videos, like heaviest riffs, or like taking an old song and 2021ing it, basically transforming it to modern age, that takes a day. That's like 8 to 10 hours straight up, sometimes longer for those.
Yeah. Caleb in the chat saying, and I thought my 1 hour was top notch for the clips. But you know what's really cool about that is a little bit of a weird flex from my side. I used to do a bunch of I used to teach young Arab speaking YouTubers here in Dubai at the YouTube space in the UAE, and talk about like what they could do to expand and how they should do their thumbnails and how they should do like the tags and all that stuff. And there were a fucking corporation of people teaching these kids how to better utilize the platform. And it's cool to see like, yo man, I clicked record and recorded some guitars, and then I realized I needed Photoshop, so I just started learning that, which is the majority of the people that actually succeed in this field, in this platform, are the ones that do it the way you did. The ones that are I don't want to say it's like too professional, but the ones that focus on the nitty-gritty are not the ones that are posting as much as you, if that makes sense.
And also just content is still king. And I know that's kind of a weird thing, but I think content will always reign king over visuals or professionalism to a point. Obviously you need to have a specific boundary standard. If I'm talking and all you hear is it's not you can't enjoy the content then, right? But like if you have a camera that's decent, like your fucking iPhone, which is probably better than my camera actually, if you have like an iPhone 11, 12 or whatever they do next, it's probably gonna be better than the camera I actually use for filming and streaming. And you just hit record and you upload it, like you have the content there, right? As long as then it's just, are you funny? Is it good? Is it engaging? Is it well told, right? It depends which content, but a lot of the original stuff is very storytelling based. Are you a good storyteller, right? And that is the purest form, I think. And if you can't do that without all your fucking sparkly shit and your fucking socials a million times everywhere, buy my merch for like the first 5 minutes of your fucking reaction video, no one cares.
Yeah. One of the things I noticed is you've done this so many times, and you have to have the top and tail kind of thing. The welcome to the thing. I have merch. I have a Spotify playlist. The last couple of months of videos, you Eminem rap god that shit. There's
yeah.
It's become part of the tradition of watching your videos, because they do exist, and they people does tell people about the Spotify playlist and the merch and stuff. But now the people that have been there for a while, it's become part of the tradition of watching the videos. Just speed rap that shit through.
Speed rap that. Yeah, and it's funny because it turns into like the usual plug idea, but I almost turn plugs into content in that way then, which is, I love that. It's not always easy to turn like advertising or plug based things into content, because it's very like, hey, support, kind of deal. Like it's very obvious. I'm still like saying like, hey, check this out, support. If you want to buy, give me money, or check out my Spotify playlist or whatever, right? It's still very like blatantly that, which again, I never hide. Even when I do literally like a sponsored video or like a sponsored pre-roll, I'm very much like, thank you to the sponsor of this video, I'm fine with that. I don't really mind, because I know the content itself is good. right? So I don't really fucking care. Like, and if people really don't want to watch something because there's an ad, or like when I'm doing those, like not a pre-roll, but like just me like advertising my own Twitch or Spotify playlist for 5 seconds, they don't want to watch. Like, okay, like I don't really mind, but I do like to minimize it because it is about the content, and I know that stuff's important, and that's why with a lot of these fucking YouTubers, man, especially because reactions are so hot now. Like they'll just they put so much focus on optimization with monetization, and they have like fucking 100 followers, and it's like what it getting money from 100 people and diminishing the content for that is not easy, but it's money now instead of caring about you doing this for 7 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was always my prior. I didn't give a fuck. I want to do this until I die. Right. Yeah. So and that's why, like I said, for the first fucking 3 years, I didn't even monetize. I didn't even make money doing this shit. So I was never big on maximizing the monetization because it's really hard to do that without taking away from the content or like maximizing your fucking effects and, you know, and it's really cool if the content's there, right? Yeah. Like, for example, you're funny as fuck, and I love all the stuff you have going. Like, that makes me want to go and kind of like get all the fancy like on-screen stuff you have down here and stuff. Like, I fucking love that stuff, right? But with a lot of these like reactors and stuff, it's like they'll have all the fancy shit, but there's nothing there. It's just, oh, watch me watch something. Okay, thanks, buy my merch, and I'm like, why the fuck am I going to buy your merch? I don't even know you. You know, I don't know what you provide. What you didn't even give me content. You just looked at something, right?
Yeah. They're like the band, which unfortunately we have a bunch of them from this side of the world. That upload an EP and doesn't get traction, they quit. It's like you got to do a little more than that.
Yeah, exactly. So
the content has to be there. You have to be engaging. You have to be all that kind of stuff. Was Kyloxy, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the tribe. And I can't think of a better word to say this, but technically an entertainer. You're someone that's on screen. You're an on-screen person. Was that ever like seeping through in your personality growing up? Was it something that anyone thought of?
Introverted as fuck.
Yeah, I thought so, because you said that you were a homebody. You didn't like school. There were a tight knit group of friends. So is there a difficulty like being the on-screen personality? Or
I think there was at the start. And you can see in my like earlier videos, I have to go watch them for, like, you know, for like a fun stream or something. I'm like, you can tell I'm awkward as fuck, but it's like I just did it. You know, I went with it. It was definitely difficult. But then I got more comfortable. I got much more comfortable. I start to care a lot less what people thought, and I start to focus more on, am I having fun? Like, is this fun? Like, I don't give a fuck if people tell me to fuck off at this point. It's like, I'm having fun. You can go somewhere else, bro. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm having a good fucking time, dude. If you want to join my party, fuck yeah. If you don't, that's up to you, right? So it was really tough at first, and then just doing YouTube, it adapted me like to just be very comfortable, because like even right now, like I'm very comfortable, and this is me talking and being very comfortable. I'm the same when I'm streaming on Twitch, or like when I'm even in my YouTube videos, right? Which, even though my YouTube videos are more structured, it's still like I'm just sitting there and I'm very comfortable. So as long as I'm comfortable, like I'm pretty talkative and, you know, fun, I'd hope. Right. But, you know, when it's like, when I get awkward or I'm uncomfortable, like I shut the fuck down, like very obviously. And that was basically my whole personality growing up and being very introverted. So it was just trying it on YouTube and forcing myself to just be comfortable and do things I like and just stop fucking caring really what people might say. You know, I love criticism, and I always say, like, I love constructive criticism. I think it's better than even just someone saying, "Hey, great job," right? Yeah. Learn from it, but like obviously, just ignoring people that are just like, "Fuck you, rip your face off," right? Like, I'm not.
There's a fine balance between the good set bros and the fuck those guys. There's somewhere in the middle that people should kind of try to linger.
So I just took that mindset, and I think I just lasted longer than a lot of other people that were doing it the same way as me, because maybe real life pressures, or I think it gets to them. Even I have some friends which I know like they'll have hate comments and it'll get to them, and like they're bigger dudes, and it's unfortunate because it can fucking fuck you up. Sorry if I swear so much, but yeah,
no, we can say fuck shit content on the show. That's fine.
Oh gosh, all right, yeah, it definitely fucks you up, right? It mentally gets to you if you have all this negativity and you let it get to you in that way, which it's tough not to, right? But it's tough, and it sucks because it affects them and then makes them not want to do as much content, or makes them not want to interact with their community as much. But I just always fed into it in the other way, where it's just like I ignore the complete obvious negativity. I don't give them the time of day. I won't respond. I won't do like take a picture of their comment and then make fun of them on Instagram thing, which I know is very popular, because it still feeds into them. Yeah. I feel like when you do that, the guy who comments it still kind of wins.
Yeah,
in like a weird way, right? So
that couldn't have come naturally, like. Because like I said, I used to do a bunch of content creation stuff for other people and help build pages and vloggers and all that stuff. Someone's first instinct when they get their first few couple of hate comments is naturally shit. They might be right. Like, you know what I mean? Like this innate kind of human reaction that's just like, oh fuck, they might be right. How did you navigate through the first wave of stuff that you get, especially being a highlight in metal, which as we all know, and as we try to combat on this channel, there's a lot of fucking elitists. there's a bunch of people that really want it to sound and look the way they want it to sound and look.
Yeah, I think it ties with two ways. Number one being that I genuinely just think my crazy obsession with this shit was greater and made me, and the happiness I got from the obsession from it was more than the sadness I got from the negative stuff.
Wow.
I literally think I was just so obsessed with this, and I loved it so much that even though that stuff would affect me, my bar was just so this way. Like if this is my happiness meter, I was just pushing so far that way that even though I'd have a big negative hit, it wouldn't bring me to the other side completely. Yeah. Like in terms of quitting, like that's what I say, like when you're GG, right? Like when it's done, like, okay, you quit because it hit you so bad, right? It would affect me, but that's the only thing that was bouncing me back. I just fucking loved it so much. Mixed in with also, I don't think I'm not the typical metal looking guy. Like I'm, and I knew, like, I knew I didn't fit into the metal scene when I was younger. I knew I didn't, right? I don't have fucking tattoos. I'm not a dude that knows every fucking band, right? I don't have a million band tees. Now I do. I just wasn't the typical stereotypical kind of metal guy, I guess. And that already made me feel like an outsider for a scene that is supposed to be for people that feel like outsiders. You know what I mean?
You're a misfit among misfits.
Yeah. I felt like I misfit into that category. And when people saw me when I was younger, they'd expect me to like just fuck with like Justin Bieber and shit. And I'm like, nah, dude, I fuck hard with breakdowns, like stuff like that. So I think that also set me up for it. Whereas like I already kind of felt like a misfit, like you said, in a misfits scene.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck it. Like I didn't feel like I needed the metal scene when I was younger to accept me, because I never thought they would anyways. So when I got those comments, like I said, it would still affect me, but I was like, I'm not doing this for you guys. Like I'm doing this because this is fucking fun for me. Like fuck you, basically.
Yeah. But this is, I think, like I said, this is the beauty of it. The fact that you didn't necessarily, because there are a lot of, especially the generation right after you, is a lot of kids that grow up going, I want to be a YouTuber from the very start, and get affected in different kinds of ways, but also get deterred because they don't make it in the first month. They're like, man, it's not going to work. I'll do something else. I think that's what keeps that momentum going in a strange way. But for someone that's been as introverted as you, for someone that's put all this effort and also like, shielded from the hate comments and grew a community, what is something like Patreon where people legit go, I believe in you? Because by the way, we have a Patreon if you guys want to support the show. People go, I believe in you. I want you to keep doing what you're doing. Here's some cash every month. How does the introvert Nick, how does the homebody Nick react to that?
Blew my fucking mind, dude. Like it shocked me. I was like, really? Like, why? Like there's people that are more metal in the metal scene doing this stuff that probably even deserve it more, that are, you know, that are better, obviously better at guitar too. That's the thing too. I never thought I was like some crazy guitar guy, right? So when I got support, it was always like, wow, really? Like, are you sure? Like, and I don't know. I think it just ties to, like, again, really, I knew I felt like kind of a misfit within the misfit environment. But because of that, I didn't feel like I needed validation. So when I got validation, it was just this really nice, sweet extra thing, instead of it feeling like, okay, good, like I deserved that, you know? Because I still to this day, like I don't feel like I fucking deserve any of this shit. I think I worked fucking crazy hard for it, but it is what it is. Right? So when people do that,
doing the research for this, I saw somewhere that you said, you know, I can't believe someone would pay that amount to support me. They can just get a Netflix subscription. And in the comments said, Nick, you are our fucking Netflix. I thought,
I love that.
I thought that summed it up perfectly. I thought that was the maybe insecurity or the reclusive kind of approach that you had describing that. And then in the comments of that video, someone said, dude, you are the fucking Netflix. This is our entertainment.
Right. I think that's what's sweet, because again, like anyone can watch any of my things. It literally, without ever giving me a single cent. Right.
Yeah.
So if anyone that goes all over and about to do that, it's just like it's just really, I'm very grateful for that. It's mindful, because I know if the roles were reversed, I rarely do the same. You know, that's why, like, I'm very realistic with, like, what would I do? Like, hey, you know, I was a kid who I knew what LimeWire was when I was a kid. Let me put it that way, right? So, you know, if something is there and it's free, okay, you know, like, I'm gonna utilize that, because you know, maybe I want to spend money on, I don't know, going to fucking Chuck E. Cheese or some shit. Like, I don't know, right? So, you know, I grew up with that, so that's why I never expected anyone to get to go up and above in that sense. And then as I get older, obviously, I've become much more like, you know, if I really like someone, like, I'll show my support, you know, any way I can, as well as financially and all that stuff. But I never expect someone to do that, right? Like, if someone watches my YouTube video, I never in my life expect them to have to pay for me to do this. Like, the fuck? Like, no, I'm, you know, like, yes, people, you know, we need to get money so we can pay fucking rent, but I do this because I love it, right? And I think mixing with that mentality for me was just so healthy, because I never was like, it's YouTube, you know, like, I got to go get paid. And then the thing about that mentality is, if you don't get paid, you feel like shit, because you expect it, right? You go in that mindset, I'm doing this for that. Whereas, again, even to this day, like, hey, I make plenty of money now, and I'm thank you guys, I'm fucking blessed. You know, like, I'm fucking cool with that shit. But it's still like content. Like, I do this because it's fun. Like, that's the same thing. Even when I taught, like, yeah, it's cool to get like a bit of extra money on the side, but I teach because it helped me connect with people on a really cool, fun, different way. And also, just, I actually learned a lot myself, like, because I had to understand what I was teaching. So, you know, like, the money was always just the ridiculous, awesome bonus for me that I never expected. So that was always my mindset, and I try to keep myself as humble as I can to stay to that, because I know as soon as it starts to flip, I'm fucked.
Dude, being on the internet, and I haven't been doing this for very long. I have a band, so we've been on stage a couple of times. I've taught content creation. I do a bunch of documentaries and videos back in the day, but being on camera and having to look back at yourself and either whether it's for editing a video or just a fucking VOD on Twitch or any of that stuff, there, like you said, there's that insane, like, getting to know yourself first and doing it for yourself 100%. Because I have a bunch of the mental stuff, the insecurities and anxieties and all that thing. And there's no better learning curve to getting to know yourself than being in front of a camera a couple of times a week at least.
Yeah, I consider this like my therapy, honestly, like what I do. Writing music too, like it's just what keeps me grounded. It's what makes me happy. And I've always asked myself the question, even when I get older now, it's like, if I wasn't doing this, like, what would I, my mom even asked me, it's like, yeah, if you never did this, like, what would you do, like, with your life? And I always am like, I'd probably still do this, but then I just also would have a job, so I'd pay the bills. That's it. This is what I would do with my free time. So I feel blessed that I get paid for doing something that I enjoy instead of doing something that I feel like I have to do to do it. Yeah.
Well, speaking of all the homies that support us, we have a bunch of questions in the question queue. I thought we'll do a quick round of a couple of these questions before we keep going with the conversation. And if you guys, the question queue is paused now, just because I'm trying to run through it, but it'll be unpaused right after that, and we'll just do them in batches if you guys want. First question is: in an ideal world, would you like to be seen less as the metal meme guy and more just as an awesome musician, or is this balance perfect for you?
I like the balance, and I think at the end of it, it's not whatever people perceive me as. It is what it is. I don't care. It got me to where I am. And it does not affect me. If people think I'm just some stupid ass meme metal guy, cool. Do you still watch the videos? All right, I like you. I don't care really what people think of me as, because I know I do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
All I know is I just like doing this shit. I like all aspects. I like the YouTube side. I think the writing is still probably my favorite, just because that's why I did it in the first place, like music and writing. But I like all aspects of it. If someone thinks of me as a musician, great. If someone thinks of me as some fucking idiot on the internet, that gives them a laugh, cool. If someone thinks of me as the dude who does the TikToks, like, power to them.
I think, and maybe we'll dig in to this a little later. This the gatekeepers of metal. And the Iron Maiden. I'm sorry if I pissed anyone off in the chat. The Iron Maiden is the best band, kind of guys. the guys that I piss off very often. Just being a fan of the a little bit of the newer stuff. I'm very curious about your interaction with those guys. But maybe we can dig into that right after a couple of more of these questions, if that's cool. Sure. We have Amir from Coat of Arms. What's going on, Amir? Coat of Arms is a modern gent. I don't know what the fuck you guys are. Metal band from Dubai. Maybe we'll play it for Nick, because everyone's been yelling at me to play their songs. If you get stranded on an island and only 5 albums of your music collection survives, which albums would you like those to be?
All That Remains, Fall of Ideals. Northlane, Singularity. Oh, dude.
That's 5 is a tough number.
That is a tough number. Those two for sure. I need some variety. There's no way. So I got the metalcore. I got Northlane, which is more the modern metal stuff. I think I would need some summery vibes. So maybe P2. I think I'd go with P2, Periphery 2. Mm-hmm. Number 4. What am I missing? I probably need some heavier stuff.
I was gonna say you need more chill stuff. I was gonna be like Deftones, White Pony. I'm just too old for that shit.
Yes, and then so chill stuff. Oh shit, I do listen to a good amount of chill stuff, but it's usually tied with the heavier stuff.
Julian's yelling David Hasselhoff in the chat.
Yeah, I think maybe Alexis on Fire Crisis, because I'd feel like I'm in a crisis. And that last one is tough. Maybe you know what? I'm just gonna YOLO this one. Make Them Suffer, Old Souls.
Nice.
I really like that album.
There you go. I mean, hopefully that answers your question. Rami from labmetal.com, Lebanese metal website. I love plugging. We'll talk about this in a bit. Just the fact that Middle East, the metal scene over here is expanding and growing, and people like labmetal.com exist. It just makes me super happy. I always plug them. How do you respond to comments like Slavic metal is racist?
I'm Slavic. I don't know, man. Fuck you off from me. I basically used all the fun stereotypes that like I would see in like family gatherings and stuff. And I just kind of went with it. I make fun of myself more than I make fun of anything else or anyone else. So if someone gets offended, probably should be me for offending myself at that point. And if I offend anyone else, you know, it's unless I feel like I actually crossed the line, then I'd feel like a fucking piece of shit. But with Slavic metal, I'm like, no, that's pure fun. In no way did I feel like that was offensive.
Yeah. No, I always say the same thing. I turned it off now, but we have a redeem on the channel, which is this guy right here. We call him Moshing Mustafa. He comes out to throw down whenever a song is so good that you need to just groove a little bit. And I got the same thing. Some people that aren't in our bubble, that aren't in our circle, went, yo, dude, that's racist. I'm like, listen, man, I'm making fun of me and us, and like there's this weird self-deprecating humor that's just on the line that isn't necessarily offensive, but if you don't get it, you might be up in arms about it. But it's an cancel. I'm muted. Fuck you, Lars. It's this thing that I think the internet culture brings that a lot of people that aren't necessarily on the internet a lot still don't get.
Yeah, and I think, like, man, attention matters so fucking much with this stuff, and I think it's very undervalued with this stuff too. It's like when people watch any of my videos, I think they can see I never have any ill intent except to myself. You know, like self-deprecating myself. Other than that, like even if I'm reacting to a song, like I in no way feel good making other people not feel good. That's the opposite of why I do my job. I feel good when I make people fucking laugh or smile. Like, you know, going out of my way to do that, it feels like shit. So I think intent is super fucking important with that stuff. And just, you know, people having, you know, lighthearted fun within reasonable boundaries. I think it's important to keep that, because if not, everything eventually gets to the point where it's so sterile that you can't even swear, right? Like, or which, you know, not that you need to swear, but it's just it can get very limiting to a point, and it's sometimes going to be harder for some people to like that are just like very, you know, fun or like want to make fun of themselves. It's going to be harder for them to even just do that and do that comfortably and express themselves without feeling like, oh, you know, I said fuck, that word is canceled. You know, I think it gets to a point which can be scary, which is the only thing I'm like about. But obviously, there's some you do you don't do some of it, right? Which I think are very obvious to a point boundaries, which you just don't touch that shit and you don't go near it. And a big reason why I never post anything about politics or religion on anything I've ever done ever in my life. Yeah. Fuck that.
Dude, yeah. I'm from the fucking Middle East, dude. Like, if there's ever a place that where you might not necessarily grow up with the freedoms, and then when you find something like the internet and the beautiful people we have in the tribe and people like yourself expressing themselves on YouTube and Twitch and stuff. That's kind of thank you. What is this place? Thank you, Entropy. Some random bald guy just stood up. This is why rather I kind of go hard on freedom of expression, because we didn't have that. We didn't have a lot of that. I grew up, like I said, I'm not that old, but back in Jordan, in Amman, Jordan, if you had a Slayer t-shirt on, a police car would pull up next to you on the sidewalk, drag you in, and ask you if you killed cats. Like that's that's the kind of stuff we're from. A lot of people in the chat are from Lebanon. We had Kiation, Damage Reich, and all the other bands from Lebanon in the chat earlier. These guys got arrested for being metalheads, for playing shows, for having long hair. You know what I mean? So when you can just express yourself, Slavic metal or not, fucking moshing Mustafa or not, and just have this kind of bubble where, and I say bubble, your bubble's fucking huge, but where it's understood what the intentions are. Like you said, when you watch the YouTube videos, you just understand what you're trying to get. It's very important. And this is what we're trying to do here with Unmuted in the Middle East. Like just allow people to express themselves.
I'm big at celebrating differences, and that's why even with Slavic metal, like I know there's like the people drinking, and like we have the Adidas. Like that's not me making fun of that directly. That's me celebrating it in a fun way, which again comes over as me making fun of it or talking down on it or something. But no, like it's fun. I love that stuff. It's part of the culture. Right. Yeah. Like I fucking love different cultures. I love what makes different cultures different. You know, it just makes my mind like it explodes it. It's like, oh wow, this is wow. Just as I said that, explosion on screen. I'm very intrigued by that stuff. It's fun because, you know, I grew up in Canada, which is very ethnically diverse in every fucking way. But it's still Canada, you know, we got maple syrup and fucking igloos and polar bears and shit, right? Whatever. You know, we all live on deers. But I love seeing different cultures. I love seeing fun things, even if some of them might be like stupid little stereotypical fun things that are just unique, you know, that people can enjoy and bring happiness to others, man. So that's big for me. I love that stuff. And that's especially like with Slavic metal. And that's why I started with Slavic metal, because I'm Slavic, fuck off. You know? Like I know I'm born Canadian, but my entire background's Slavic and all my family. So I'm like, if anyone, and I also had Toli, who is Russian as fuck, be the vocal. So I was like, okay, if anyone wants to be a dick to me, they got Toli to back me on it. And I even asked Toli, I'm like, because he did the lyrics, right? And we went over it a bit together. I'm like, Toli, I'm gonna trust your judgment that nothing in here like gets you put in jail, right? Like, you know? Like you got to make sure, because like I don't live there, right? Like I don't know what really is too sometimes far from the line with that. Like it should be pretty obvious, but who knows? Maybe there's like a weird term that like I didn't know, and it's like really fucking offensive, and it's like, oh shit, you know, like I didn't fucking know that. So
I did that in the Middle East. I shouldn't tell the story. One of my first bands, I was a vocalist for. I wrote some lyrics, and back in Jordan, to be able to play a show, you have to submit your lyrics and your artwork and stuff so they could approve it. And I had the wise idea of writing a song about honor killings, which for those that don't know is when like a father doesn't necessarily like what his daughter's doing and gets to kill her. He goes to jail, but it's for a very short time because it's an honor killing. I wrote a song about that. They weren't too happy about it. We had to run away. That's
right.
It was pretty fucked up. But yeah, it's like those things that maybe you're just expressing yourself when someone else is like, this is fucked up.
Yeah. And with some stuff, like I said, I like to, you know, to point, like celebrate differences. I think a lot of people everyone's trying to like do this funnel where everyone's this exact, like everything is so convoluted in the exact same thing. And I'm like, I fucking love, like I said, cultural differences. I'm so excited by them because it's different. It's fucking great. Like I'm that basic like white dude that like goes to like a Japanese restaurant and I'm like so stoked at literally everything, you know, like the chefs randomly like shouting when people come in. I'm like so stoked. It gets annoying after you're there for a fucking hour, right? But like it's so exciting, and like seeing all the different foods and stuff like that, and just the culture and all the like. And even though it's this little one place in Toronto, it's not even in Japan, I get so excited about that stuff because it's so fun and different, and I like to celebrate that stuff instead of, again, put it down or try to, you know, fucking turn it into something else that it's not.
Yeah. As I was just about to to sidetrack into like, and then we have our own kind of humor. Fucking Bragner in the chat says, "Be quiet and let the guests talk." Fuck you, Bragner. Gonna take that VIP badge off you. We have two more questions in the list. Then I want to talk to you about the gatekeepers of metal for a second. This is from Manav. Manav is from a band out here in the UAE called White Morgue. Shout out to Manav. What's going on, my dude? Hey Nick, out of all your guitars, which one's your favorite?
JP6. Sentimentally, my Schecter Hellraiser, because it was there from the start. Well, not from the start, but like from the YouTube career start, I guess. And that thing, I put that through some shit. And it just dealt with me. So I have huge love for that guitar. But in terms of like my go-to guitar, my JP6, I love that guitar. So it's right here, actually. I have all my guitars over there. JP6 is right beside me right now. So.
The chat also says, I like how you're holding a guitar pick.
Was I? Maybe. I have two on my desk. I
think you held one when you were answering that. And Manav also asks, what's the story behind forming Termina?
Yeah. Long story short, essentially, I knew a dude named Ezekiel Pearson who was in Down and Dirty for like a minute, and he released a song with them, and he was a beast. I covered a Down and Dirty song, and then he left, and he knew I did a cover, and we talked a little bit. And he hit me up and was like, "Hey, like, you want to like do stuff? Like, you want to write something?" And I was like, "Okay," because I knew he was really good. And I was like, "Sure." Like, I knew that sound, like the Down and Dirty sound, like it's popular, right? It's basically 7-string Asking Alexandria. And I took that and I was like, I can make an album of that easy. Like that's not too hard. So I started working with him, writing some cool songs. And I just ended up working with him because he wanted to be a tattoo artist full time. I was like, okay. So I had all these songs and I was like, well, who am I going to hit up? And the first person I thought of was Andy, because I was never a dude who wanted to really start a band. I had Nik Nocturnal, I had my YouTube and that. But I was like, I have these songs which don't really fit just me doing them solo. So I was like, well, if I started a band, even though originally that wasn't what prompted it. It was me accepting or wanting to do something with Ezekiel specifically. Because he asked me, I was like, well, if I started a band, I would have done it with Andy. So I hit up Andy, sent him the songs, and 5 minutes later, he was like, okay, let's go. And that's basically the start of Termina. And there was only one song that really made it, and you'll hear it. It's Suffocate off Termina's album, which kind of sounds like Down and Dirty-esque. All the other ones were brand new, though. We completely scrapped the other couple, and we had a new vibe. It was something different and different vocalists. So I wrote for Andy. And that's the start of Termina, basically.
That's very cool. I heard you speak very highly of Andy while I was doing the research. His first of all, the performance speaks for itself. But I love the fact that you said you could just send this guy tracks and you trust 100% what he would put on them and bring back.
Yeah, he's a gem. As soon as I found him, especially because in my YouTube career, like I always was looking for fun little like vocalists to work with, right? Like not a band thing, but like even YouTube videos. And I never found one that was either reliable, that did shit, that got it done, or wasn't a bitch, like a diva, like wasn't like a bitch about it. Like it was like, oh, we'll do this, and I'm like we're just trying to have fun, you know what I mean? And then he was the first dude who was ridiculously talented, who could do the sings and the screams, and was open to doing anything from deathcore to Dance Gavin Dance, right? Like the whole fucking spectrum, which I fucking love, because I also listen to a lot of different shit. And plus, he got shit done. He was nice, reliable, and we were friends first. It was just like a no-brainer, kind of. And it was just like, yeah, dude, like you're the guy. Like I fucking grabbed onto him and never let go, literally.
I think I'm a vocalist now in my band, and I think one of the only reason I'm a vocalist is because we couldn't find someone that I had in mind to sound the way I wanted to sound. So I just ended up finding a vocalist is as rare as finding a good drummer. I think it's just one of those things that's like, if you can trust someone with that very front leaning position, it's you stick to them. You're just like, I'm not letting this fucking guy go.
Yeah, no, he is stuck with me, and he knows that, especially now.
Manav asking, are we playing tracks from the scene, bro? If we get some time and Nick's down for it, we might play a track or two, but we're getting to know the guy. You guys, everybody's yelling at me for get Nik Nocturnal.
Guy. It's the metal guy with the faces. Listen to our music.
But that I wanted to ask about that. I wanted to ask about the kind of the standard kind of gatekeepers of metal and being also like too modern for the metal scene. But at the same time, you're one of those people that everyone wants you to react to songs, which can be a blessing and a curse, because it's amazing that people care about your opinion, but also how the fuck do you deal with so many people sending you tracks?
Oh yeah, okay. So yes.
So wait, I lumped those two together. I'm sorry, but let's two extreme things. Yeah, let's talk about the too modern for metal.
Okay, too modern for metal. It's I grew up at the perfect time, and my cousin just played the right things when I was younger, and that's why I got so like if I had to give anyone my top like 5 bands that made me who I am, they're all core bands. It's As I Lay Dying, Bullet for My Valentine. Well, Disturbed's not really core, but Avenged, Sevenfold, and I think Atreyu actually from the Curse album. Like those changed my fucking life. All those, like those are my core bands. Like I will live by those and die by them basically, right to this day. So I think because even though I did start out with like Guitar Hero and like hearing like Metallica and stuff, it just didn't click with me as much. Like, or maybe I wasn't old enough yet. I don't know. I was like maybe 7, 8, and then when I was like 10 or fucking 11 is when my bros start to play that stuff, like the As I Lay Dying and Avenged and that. And that's when I was like, this is me. Like I'm very into this. So I always, which was modern for the time, right when it came out. So I think I just always kept following that trend, and also being exposed to YouTube. At like I think I was like 13 or something, and all that YouTube also helped me follow that trend, because I'd like go on YouTube and As I Lay Dying and I'd be like, oh, a new like Kill Switch Engage, like what's Kill Switch Engage, right? You know, like I would explore music through that. So I was always kind of staying up to date with the new stuff, and that really is what developed my taste always for the new stuff. And I kind of neglected a lot of the older classics, and to this day, like people will be like, Nick, have you listened to like this album from Metallica? And I'll be like, no. You know, and it shocked them. They're like, what the fuck? How? Right. But yeah, I just always grew into that stuff. And then I grew with, I think, the scene and the movement of music. And I just became addicted to always, what's next? What's next? What's this new sound? I love this new sound. How do I try it? How do I incorporate it? And it really developed that taste for that. So, you know, I just stay true to that basically with my content. Like I don't usually react to older stuff because it doesn't excite me as much. It's not as exciting. It's like I heard that, right? Like, and I mean, if I didn't hear this specific Metallica album, I heard that style, you know, in the other Metallica songs I heard, right? Like, and you know, I've kind of heard that type, and I'm always looking for new styles and shit to kind of combine into stuff. And I get sick of things very quickly too. So yeah, when I get, you know, metal boomers more so hitting me and being like, you darn kids, this isn't real metal, you core fuckers, you know?
I'm just going to point out, he's directly talking to you, Craggers and Carl. You guys, those two patrons, just yelling Slayer at me all the time. You guys, that's...
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know. I just fucking ignore it, because my content isn't for them anyways. Right, it's like my content's first of all, I make everything because I love it. I do it for myself, just because I enjoy making it, and then I make it, you know, people who want to watch. Right, if you're a person who goes out of your way to watch my Bring Me the Horizon reaction, and you're a dude who only likes fucking Slayer and Metallica and thinks everything else is bitch metal, like that's your problem, dude. Don't watch it. Like, what do you want? You know?
There he is, yelling Slayer in the chat. There you go.
Yeah, but not to say I still won't give mad respect to that music, right? I think that's the important part, is even if I didn't grow up with it as much and it's not as much like what I really care about nowadays, I'll always be like, yeah, Metallica, like respect to them, right? Respect to Slayer, respect to the big four, you know what I mean? Because they're the ones that made it possible for the music I do like today, right? Even though I still like that music, but it's not like I'm like, hey, I can't wait to throw on, you know, a Slayer album. Like, it's just not me. I just don't do it really.
Yeah, yeah. I have a little bit of both. I grew up with some of the older school stuff because I'm older. And but you know, you said all the keywords like Azalea Dying, Killswitch Engage. I had a bunch more of the new wave of American metal. You know, the God Forbids and the Lamb of Gods and the Unearth kind of vibe. Just predates yours by a little bit. And I kind of grew up with that scene. And even the way my band sounds has a lot of core elements in it, you know, the clean choruses and the breakdowns and all that stuff. And a lot of people to this day just they don't get it. And they're like, why aren't you playing thrash? isn't the thrash the way to go? But like we were talking about earlier, it's weird that a scene of misfits that grew from punk and hardcore, which was primarily going against the grain, and telling people to fuck off because we want to do what we want, turn around and go, if you're not wearing black, even though both of us are, but if you're not wearing black and you're not listening to this particular band, you're not in the cool kids club, which I always thought was funny because like the most punk and metal thing you could do is not be punk and metal.
Yeah, that's the thing that fucked me up. Is like, to me, the most metal thing you can literally do is go put on Miley Cyrus followed by Thy Art Is Murder. That's metal as fuck. Like being able to listen to both of those and like, fine, make fun of whatever, right? Have fun with it. But being able to like put on a pop song followed by a deathcore song and anything in between, that's metal to me, right? That's going really against the just the norm of listening to one thing, right? People that are just like, no, I only listen to thrash. I only listen to black metal. I only listen to, you know, even metalcore, right? Or I only listen to deathcore. Like it's I feel like you're just doing the same thing that people that only listen to pop do. You know, it's just, you're not listening to pop. You're just listening to a metal genre inserted, but it's instead of like having that free mind to really listen to whatever and go against the grain, you're still the same thing of you're just so hardcore at, you know, following what everyone else is doing instead of doing your own thing and enjoying the music you want to fucking listen to, right?
Yeah, 100%. And for someone that listens to a buttload of music, I don't know if buttload was the right term there, but let's talk about all these fucking bands hitting you up. You have started after the covers, after everything, expanding the content, like you were saying, from reaction videos and even now on Twitch, which we'll talk about. You have guests on from the band that you're reacting to. It's a whole thing. It's a huge thing. How has it been managing all the bands sending shit your way? Yo, Nick, we want you to react to this.
I'm going to be honest. When it comes to the smaller bands, and unless it's like through a label or someone I know, I don't see it. Like it's in my inbox, but I don't see it. You know what I mean? I can't. I get through Instagram 20 messages a day, through Facebook 20 messages a day, through my email 20 messages a day. Nick, check out my band. And sorry, I don't have, you know, what is 60 to 100 songs a day worth of time. You know, it's just how it is. So, but I do know that it's important to check out new music because I also don't want to miss a diamond in the rough, right? And I think that's very important, but I can't sit there and fucking do that all day, right? I can't. So I found different ways, such as like the Friday night new metal party, where people who just like, it's checking out brand new music only of that week, where we'll check out a band that has fucking 3 monthly listeners on Spotify, all the way to Architects, right? As long as it came out that week, I don't care. And that's how we really find the diamonds in the rough. Because that's the point. Other than that, I mean, you know, like these bands, I get what they're doing. They want to get exposure, but they all, this has been the way of always doing it. Is just like, just spam people or just try to hit up the right publications or medias. And to a way, I agree with that. I'm not saying I didn't do that. Trust me, I fucking did that. I didn't fucking know better with it. I did the fuck out of that. So I'm an expert at spamming people to check out your shit. Okay. And it's just, you might get a bite, right? And that's all you need. Is you could send 1,000 emails and all you need is one response sometimes to like make something happen. So I get the mindset and I appreciate it. I unfortunately am just not the dude that's going to be the person that bites. And I think my best advice for bands that are trying to get out of the scope of that is to look outside the box. Where's the right place to be, right? I've had a lot of new bands come to my Twitch And during like challenges of me being like, hey, $5. And if I headbang to your track, right? Sometimes we find fucking bangers. And yeah, you throw $5 away, but maybe the right person hears it, right? Instead of spending $300 on Facebook ads that you don't even know how to set the proper demographic for.
We did the Facebook ads thing, and everyone in the comments was in Arabic, just in actual Arabic text saying, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. So, it's trying to find fun ways like that. But I think the most important thing that I wish I knew is make it so people can't ignore you anymore because you're somehow so special, right? Like your music speaks for itself while still taking a conscious effort to market it and get it to the right places and taking the right opportunities, but really make it so they can't ignore you anymore. That is literally what I did and how I got all my label contacts. They couldn't ignore me anymore. I was checking out their bands and doing reactions for the past 7 fucking years. Well, covers for 7 years, but reactions as well. And it was getting views, and they see it, right? They see that when they type in their own bands in the SEO. They're like, who the fuck's this Nik Nocturnal dude has half our video views, right?
When you type Whitechapel and the second video is yours and it has almost the same amount of views as the fucking music video, you're like, hey, you should pay attention to this shit.
Yeah, the label's gonna be like, oh, what the fuck is that, right? So, and that's, again, it's on a grander scale, and again, these bands don't have that scale yet, right? So, but I'm saying at a lower scale, that's essentially what I did to make it so just people can't ignore me in that sense anymore, right? They can if they want, but they know that I have enough value that if they don't take advantage of that, they're going to miss out, and someone else is going to scoop it up, right? For example, like I have so many labels hitting me up now, like bigger labels that I work with to check out their new bands that I really love, like their big band shit, that I don't have spots for half of the requests from these big labels for big releases. Right? So it's that same kind of thing. Make it so they almost come to you or have to come to you without, though, just sitting there and expecting they'll do it. It's a very weird and fine-lined balance of taking every opportunity, utilizing the right publication sources, utilizing the right sources of where people find underground music, getting your music there, while still having something so special to offer that when it gets in the hands of the right person, you can almost visualize their thoughts. And this ties to like marketing and psychology, which why I love psychology so much, is with music I release or with any even reaction I release, I get in the mindset of someone who's going to watch that. Yeah. Like if like Whitechapel, for example, right? Like let's say they watch my reaction, I know they're going to be like, okay, well, first of all, he didn't tell the band to fuck off, so that's a plus, right? He seems nice. He seems like he's providing value, and he's providing extra details, and analyzing this song, which is cool. And he also has a big, decent fucking following, and he also seems he works with other labels, so that gets their mind going. And if you're trying to get in that mindset of what does that person do, right? What is that value they're going to see in you? That's one of the most important things you can learn is perceived value. It's kind of fucked up, but it's the music industry, right? When people look at your email, when people look at your band, what goes through their head? What is their perceived value of what you have to offer them in terms of exposure or marketing or anything like that? You got to understand that the industry is entirely about value. And as soon as you don't have value to offer someone, they don't fucking care anymore. Sad, but it's true. And I'm very aware of this too, even with the labels I work with. And I have a great relationship with the labels I work with. But I know that, let's say I don't know, I stopped doing YouTube videos and I stopped checking out their bands and stuff. And then I come back a year later and I'm like, hey guys, like my band Terminal wants to get signed. None of them will care. Yeah, I know that, right? And I'm very conscious of it, and that's fine because I provide them value, they provide me value.
And the chat is just kind of solidifying that. Manav saying I find all my music on Nik's channel. It goes beyond the videos sometimes from Caleb. Julian, who's an artist manager, band manager, works with a bunch of the big guys, says it works. I'm in Nik's Twitch and I'm a person that may hear it, which is right there. So one of the best. Oh, sorry. That's got nothing to do with it. One of the best interviews on Unmuted so far. so many facts being dropped. So many fucks. But yeah, it's the way I used to describe it, which is the dumbed down version of explaining it to someone that may have never heard of a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer or anything like that. I say the way you think of just how valuable this person is think of a highway. You guys are a 2-lane highway with a billboard, basically. That billboard, there's a couple hundred people that pay attention to that billboard, but that highway, you have the potential of 1 million people that drive down that highway. The bigger the subscribers, the bigger the algorithm kind of attraction, the bigger the highway turns into an 8-lane, like a fucking Dubai highway, an 8-lane highway. And putting that billboard up on an 8-lane highway, you have much more potential for people to start clicking that subscribe or going to whatever you're trying to advertise. And the value that someone like yourself would bring is be like, listen, I already have an 8-lane highway with 500,000 people that watch it. There's a potential for another 500,000 people, and this is what I could bring to the table. There's a fucking Burger King buying a billboard for millions of dollars on an 8-lane highway. No one's watching that anymore. Everyone's looking to the digital world. Everyone's looking at YouTube. Everyone's looking at this spectrum.
And when it comes to value, even to give like chatter perspective, because it's not something I ever really talk about. Like, let's say even like I talk to a label, right? Like, to give a perspective, right? A label could spend like $2,000 or like way more for like a marketing budget and like pay shit. I work with labels, and this is again the mindset that I know they'll have when they talk to me. Here's a dude that first of all is going to promote our band for free because I don't charge for reactions or anything like that. So they like that, right? Here's some free promo in exchange for like whitelisting. Like, okay, we'll let him have his YouTube AdSense, right? Oh, wow. And through that, it's not just, okay, here's a YouTube channel that's gonna be promoted with 500,000 people. From there, he also has a Twitch where he checks out music live. Oh, wow. Here's another added bonus of value. He has guests from big bands on there that check out these songs live too. There's some more value thrown in, right? It's more laced and laced. Because again, if it's just me being a YouTuber, that has value, but it's not a there's no differentiator. It's just, oh, well, why don't we just hit up another YouTuber that has those numbers, right? So it's all laced and tied together, and that's by choice of me building all this shit together, right? So there's the YouTube, there's the Twitch, and then there's guests that come on and check your shit. And then from there, he has a Spotify playlist with a good amount of fucking followers that actually help. And is pretty active. And if he really likes it, he also throws it on his TikTok with 120K, fucking followers. And
fucking
then
TikTok.
From there, there's like a Twitch Clips channel. You know what I mean? And it's free, right? So I know that's what these labels are going to see. So in my mindset, if someone gave me that option, it's a no. Like, take here. What do you want? Like, here's our bands, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like, absolutely.
What do you need? It's just this huge marketing kind of promotion thing, which again, it's not like I'm doing this for promotion, but it's all content driven that helps promote this stuff, the underlying aspect of it, right? And all I ask is to whitelist my fucking video. And funny enough, sometimes even with that, I've gotten pushback. And
oh, damn.
The only time I've gotten pushback is when I know the dude doesn't even know what the fuck YouTube is.
And you could tell right away from the first reply of an email or whatever.
Yeah, and if it's the older mentality, right? Because they don't know. Like, and I don't blame them necessarily. I semi-blame them if they have this fucking company and they're not up to date with some of the more modern promotional stuff, right? But at the same time, it's like, I get it. You hit up the radio stations, you get your bands on tour. There's your marketing budget. You promote the tour with Facebook. Like, I get it. Right. So I completely understand if sometimes I come to a label and they're like confused more so.
Yeah.
But then I hit up some labels and I swear to God, they'll just be like, Nick, like, what do you need? Here,
whitelist the whole channel for 4 years. Just go for it.
Yeah. It's like, they'll give me anything they want, any guest I want from their label, because they know how much that free asset for them can help. And I know that that's the value I can provide them. So again, and I know that's on a bigger scale that took me fucking years to build, but like understanding your perceived value is so important, because when it comes down to it, if you're a band and you say, check out my band, they say why. Not a lot of people say why, right? What do you say to that? Like, a lot of bands would just be like, well, because it's our music and we're trying to get out there.
Yeah.
No one in this industry gives a fuck to do you a favor unless it pleases them in some way or helps them, or unless they really love your music, right? No one is just gonna be like, well, oh yeah, like this. Here's this band that they just want to get out there. So like, the music's okay, but they just want to get out there, so we'll help them. It doesn't exist. There's a million other bands that just want to get out there. You know what I mean?
Was there a point in time? And this is another fucking term that I hate, but it's the most descriptive, that you realize like I'm influential when it comes to this. Was there a certain request or something where you're like, fuck, what? This I'm reacting to this right now?
Yeah, oh yeah. I still get those. I mean, I it's still a lot of that where it's like it shocks me. In terms of me being like, I think as I've gotten older and into this more, I've understood my perceived value more, right? Because my value, that's the weird thing and the mistaken thing is, I'm not sitting here thinking I'm some fucking hot shot that can offer a crazy amount to these labels, right? I'm just a dude who makes fun content and I'd like to share it with these bands, right? That's my value to me, is a dedicated dude that really likes this shit, right? But the perceived value, I'm quite aware of what these guys think I can offer them and the value I can get for them, right? Even just by reacting to their bands. So, I think it's much more of a recent thing with working with some of the labels and getting these bigger artists to work with me, which it's been like, oh, okay. Like I didn't expect to get that fucking email. I'm not okay. Like, let's go, I want to ask from
just because I have the podcast and getting a guest on was a big deal for me, and some of the guests just blew my mind, the fact that they would be here. Has there ever been a guest on your more recent Twitch streams with the Friday streams where you check out music and this guy's or girl is there checking out music with you? You're like, I can't fucking believe this is happening right now.
All three of them so far. I've done 3 of them. I have some crazy ones planned that I don't know if I can announce, but it fucked my world when I heard that it's happening. Let me put it that way. But yeah, like having Jack from Slaughter was really great, especially that was the first stream. I was nervous in terms of making sure nothing crashed and it went well. I mean, he's a cool dude to talk to. I think bigger, more so Motionless in White with Ryan. Yeah. Because it's just a band I've followed for quite some time, and Ryan's a really cool dude. And then Eugene from Ginger, he is. I love all the guys. Yeah. But Eugene's on another level of just.
He's a character. Yeah, we got the chance to open for them here in Dubai, and he's a character. He brings so much like energy to the conversation.
Dude, to get on our show, he came off of Resurrection Festival 40 minutes before he came on my show. Just did a whole set. Yeah, he came on my show. And he has to go to sleep too, because like he has a show the next day, and like it's also album release day. I literally told my chat, this guy had more energy than me, and I don't even know how. Like I was shocked. He's so energetic. He's so fun. He's one of my favorite people I've ever talked to in this entire industry ever. He's so cool. So yeah, all 3 of them are really great, and a bit of a shell shock, like a little bit like, oh wow, like I'm having them on the show. That's wow. I have a couple planned for October that aren't announced yet, and like I think people are going to think I'm scamming them when I say that these people are going to be on my show, but they're going to be there.
Chat exclamation point guest in the chat will drop a little blurb about Nick, but we'll also link you to his Twitch channel if you guys aren't already following. Just say follow. Trust me. Listen, I've spent so much time on your streams doing stuff from categorizing, tiering bands watching the fucking Osbournes with you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And those Friday streams, I love the fact that you have the guests on now. It's such a insane dynamic. I really do enjoy that.
The thing, right, is again, it's all very natural how it kind of builds. And my big thing is I know what I do isn't something. I know any one particular thing I do isn't something that no one else can do. Right. I know that.
Yeah.
I'm very, like, anyone can react to something. Anyone can. There's a billion better guitar players than me. I know that. You know, I see them and I cry every time. Right.
Make your guitars hate you.
Yeah. And anyone can start a Spotify post. It's the culmination of everything.
Yeah.
That I spent so much time on to keep expanding and building, because that's something I know will be unique to me as long as I keep growing, right? So, for example, even just like Twitch streaming is cool, but there's a lot of Twitch streamers. Like, what did I have to offer that was different other than, oh, it's Nik streaming? Cool, right? Like, so I was like, okay, Friday party, because we happened to just check out new music. It was just an accident. Every Friday we would just check out new music. I was like, hey, do you guys want to do this like weekly? And chat was like, fuck yeah. I was like, okay. So that was cool, and that became a differentiating factor that now a lot of other people started to do as well. So that became a fun differentiating factor. And I was like, well, how do I push that further? Imagine if I had guests from these big bands, right? Come on stream, check out new music from, you know, they'll probably have released something, you know, an album or a single, their stuff with them, but also check out like bands that no one has ever heard of and get their thoughts on them live.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's something here, right? There's fucking something here. No one is doing this, especially in the metal scene. And our first stream with that was Jack from Slaughter, and we usually got like 200 to 300 concurrent viewers. That stream was 1,200.
Nice.
And I was like, I think it works. You know, I was like, I think this concept works. There's something here that works, because we have 4 times the fucking viewers I've ever seen in my whole life. Okay. And it was so fun, right? So that, again, added to the uniqueness. Now it's like, not only, oh, Nik has the Friday party, but also he's going to have a fucking guest, man. Right? Yeah. So and that again, just
for the most part, I guess from the stuff that's fresh, that's right there and then, that's just being released as well.
Exactly. So that was another, and then as I keep going, like, I'm even going to be starting a little podcast thing. I also do fun, like, TikTok related things, which I know it's cringy for a lot of people, but you like it or not, TikToks, I know where metal and the future of music is going, and where all like marketing efforts are going into. So same thing, I see that as a thing, and I'm like, okay, no other YouTubers really messing with TikTok. Like, I'll do it. You know, I'll be the guy. I don't care.
I started an emo TikTok just after your reactions to it. Just
exactly. Right. Other than Bana was like, he did it so well, and that's the same thing. I saw him do it. And I was like, okay, he can do it on that level, but he does it on the TikTok level, right? Like, his TikTok's huge. I wanted to do it on the YouTuber watching TikTok level, right?
Yeah.
Or like Twitch stream watching TikTok level. I want to do that on a different kind of way, which again just adds more distinguishable, varietable value where, yeah, someone can, you know, do that. You know, like any YouTuber can watch TikTok, but they're not going to do all the other 20 million things I'm doing too. Right?
This goes back to the very first thing I was telling you. Using the term YouTuber for me, it very much undersells the amount of shit that you actually do. It's things like that. Like, let's start TikTok and react to it and kind of utilize it. You even said it in one of your streams. You're like, chat, do you realize? I think it was even in the highlight video. Do you realize this is the fucking future? Like, we may be laughing about this now, but this is where your songs are going to be in a couple of years.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I go with it. You know, TikTok's not a platform I'm a huge fan of, but like, I'm not going to go against it. I'm going to have fun with it. That's what I've always done. Even things I don't like as much, like, I have fun with it, and I bring new light to it and have fun with the content and just enjoy, you know. And I know it's going to be the future, so I'm not going to get in my own way and be like, no, I'm anti-TikTok because blah, blah, blah. It's like, why would I limit myself like that? I've always been the opposite, the person who expands, right, when I see new things and tries to find ways to really utilize that and then bleed into this whole cycle. Like I said, with all the stuff, like how I pitch it to a label even, it's like, I have a YouTube. And then if I can't do a YouTube reaction, I can check it out on Twitch Friday Night Party with a guest, and then they put it on the Twitch Clips YouTube channel. And then from there, I can also put it on my Spotify playlist, and then I can use a clip from that and throw it on my TikTok. You know what I mean? And then I also use my Instagram and YouTube to promote the whole event.
Yeah, exactly. See, listen, man, I told you before we started streaming, like I've been on Twitch for 10 months. We've been doing the show. Everything started because lockdown happened, and I was just like, hey, let me talk to cool people from around the world. It's pretty fucking inspiring seeing just the amount of things that you put out is crazy. I remember just looking at that number, 27 videos in the last 30 days on YouTube outside of everything else you did. I'm like, God damn it. I do 3 streams a week. And we upload the podcast on Spotify and YouTube later, but that's work. That's the grind.
It's a grind, man. And like I said, I think if I'm a little fucking crazy in that way, where it's like, if I didn't love it like to this weird extreme, I wouldn't do it. There's no way I wouldn't do this for any amount of money. Like if someone was like, hey, if you did all these things, but you weren't a huge fan of it, and but you made a decent amount of money, like I wouldn't do it. Like I wouldn't fucking care. I the only reason I can do it is because I love it, and because I'm obsessed with it, and because if someone says, well, if you weren't doing this, what would you do? Well, I guess I would do something else like in the meantime, and then I'd spend the rest of my hours of the day doing this.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I'll do what I have to do to like you said, pay the rent, and then I'm gonna do this either way. For Derpy Paws, thank you so much for the gifted sub to Caleb. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Caleb, welcome to the tribe. I'm
fortunate that I can make a really solid living doing this, and I never expected that. It was just the sprinkle on top, and I'm very lucky, and that's why I feel very blessed doing this, because I can do it and not worry, but also like it, fucking can make a pretty solid fucking living after a bit doing it. I'm like, okay. I don't mind that stuff.
And I always like to preface this. It's not easy work. This is actually harder than the 9 to 5. A lot of the content creators that I used to know, a lot of the content creators that I've worked with, and seeing your kind of progression. This is the reason I'm saying this is because more recently than not, a lot of people have been talking about just how much money content creators make, and if it's like worth it kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like there's been this uproar thing. It's not luck. It's not being paid too much, or it's the support that people show is because you put every single minute into this thing.
It ties to the perceived value almost thing. It's like if people think you offer them a lot of value, they'll go out of their way to just give you that value, sometimes in a monetary way, without you ever asking for it. And that's why my number one is to have the passion, love the fuck out of this, and always provide some kind of value, entertainment value, laughs, like, whatever it might be. Yeah. And that has always been my goal, is to provide in some way value. Because if I'm providing value for other people, then I feel fulfilled, right? That feels like I have a purpose in that sense. And then people will respond to that however they want to respond to that. And if they want to respond to it sometimes monetary, that's fucking ridiculous and incredible. And I'm so grateful for that stuff, Yeah. And some people respond to that by literally watching all my videos all day. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. Thank you. Right? It blows my mind. And it ties down to value, which I know is such a weird term because it sounds very corporate, and I'm not a huge corporate dude. But if you provide intrinsic value in what you do, people will come to it, right? Yeah. If you provide value in the community, even, and I think I'm big on community. I am very big on community building, and I know the value of community. If you have a fucking awesome community, people want to be there, just hang out. Right. And that's why my Twitch and my Discord has always been like my community focus. And I spent a good amount of time, and my mods spent even more time, and they're fucking amazing at that because they really believe in it and they love the community aspect out of it. And it's so great to see like that to me is priceless. Like you can't buy a community really. Like you can throw some money and they'll maybe be there for a week, then they'll be gone. Right. Yeah. In terms of like that community that will be there forever because they just have a good time and they enjoy it, and it brings value to their life and some kind of happiness. That is the toughest thing to build. and the thing I spend a lot of fucking time doing. You know, community value, and then community. Guess what? Guess who listens to the bands? The fucking community, the scene. If you provide value to the scene, the corporates come to you, which is exactly what happened for me. Yeah. All the labels, all the managers came to me in that case because they saw the value I provided their audience, right? Their community, the scene. So they're just like, oh, well, let's just go straight to the source. Fuck it. You know? Yeah. So I think that's very important. And to tie your earlier question, sorry, the thing that shocked me the most was Phil doing the project with me. It wasn't a Friday night thing, but that's probably the biggest
so from all that remains, for those that might not know, that you were saying like some of the bands growing up, you dropped All That Remains in there. And
All of Ideals, man, fucking that, and not the one with Chiron on it. I'm so bad. Overcome, that and Overcome, timeless albums for me. I love them so much.
Very, very fucking cool. And going back to the community and stuff, I saw Four Derpy Paws and Pigeon Show and Rami Lab Metal and everyone come out swinging with the tribe stuff. It's very fucking important for us here as well. And I just want to shout out everyone that's part of the tribe. We call ourselves the tribe, and the community here, and everyone that's coming over from Nik's world. Join the Discord and stuff. It's for us here in the Middle East. It became even more important just because there aren't actual places to fucking go and talk about this shit. So it was a really cool kind of transition, and then we found this other. Like a lot of people from Europe and the States in the chat and stuff, it just bridged that fucking gap. Everyone's hanging out. Everyone's talking about the music they love, and it's it really is very fucking cool to see. Like I was saying, we've had it up for 10 months. I just saw someone subscribed for 9 months, resubscribed for 9 months in when we had the start screen up, and I was like, fuck, it's been 9 months of doing this. It's just. It feels like I just learned how to Twitch. You know what I mean?
I'm still learning, man, dude. I don't got none of the fancy shit at this point. I'm like, I learn a new gadget and I make it a whole event with my Twitch chat. They're like, oh, Grandpa Nick learned something new today. Sarcastic. Good job, Grandpa Nick. Good for you. You learned how to do a transition from one scene to the next.
Listen, you guys, I promise if Nick wants any help, I'll get him all the bells and whistles. All right, and we'll get him the fire on his channel so you guys can throw up some.
I need that shit, dude. Definitely.
We have a few more questions in the question box, and we'll start to wind down. I know you got a lot of stuff to do. Yo, Junior, thank you so much for that fire. This is from Ace, and I just want to let you guys know who Ace is. Ace is the only Arabic-speaking metal podcast host from Saudi Arabia. You don't hear that sentence put together very often. Saudi Arabian metal holding it down, man. Fucking amazing. He says, "Hey Nick, I recall your participation in Shredders of Metal with Banger TV. How did it feel when you participated? I know you're a very skilled and talented guitarist. Were you anxious from the competition along with the other guitarists? And congrats on the win, well deserved." So let's dissect that a little bit. How did you feel? Was it nerve-wracking when you were on the show?
It was fun because it was something I knew it was going to be like old thrash shredding, right? I absolutely knew that, and I was like, I'm not that dude. Like, I'm a modern metalcore kid. Like, I can shred if I need to, but like pentatonic and blues and that stuff. Like, I'm with a wah pedal, for example. Like, that is not my style at all when it comes to guitar work. I grew up with a bit of it, but I really I don't like it as much. I've heard it so much growing up, right? With like Guitar Hero, basically. I heard a lot of it. And yeah, it was. I just kind of went into it. I was like, I'm not going to win this because I know I'm not like a thrash shredder, and I was just kind of going with a fun mindset. I was nervous because it's just awkward, like standing in front of there with like 3 judges and like there's people there, and it's really fucking hot. And also, like, I'm not used to playing like standing up, which I know is like like what? It's like a weird thing for some people. But I'm not. I sit here with my guitar and I jam, right? So it was nervous in terms of just I was uncomfortable in that sense. I wasn't nervous so much like, oh, I hope my playing is super. And the judges just kind of liked what I did, and I felt really bad. That dude specifically, right there.
He just the guy from fucking Testament just watching you.
yeah. The other contestant that's behind me, I felt so bad for that dude because that dude did like a whole plane ride to get here, and I like drove like 10 minutes because in Toronto. And he got kicked out. Like I beat him in the first round, and I was like, I felt so bad because I came here just for like why not? Like it's right here in my backyard. And this dude fucking took a plane ride to get here. And he's like so in it. He was so hyped. And like he got kicked out first round. I was like, I feel so bad right now, dude.
So what was the thing that made you participate in that? Because this is this is 2019. This isn't it was too far back.
My dude Bradley, who works there, who's a good buddy of mine in Toronto, was like, "Hey Nick, like Banger TV is doing this," and he worked at Banger TV. Do you want to come? And I was like, okay. Like it was in my backyard, and I was like, I've never really heard of like a shredding competition, so I was like, fuck it. It's like, you're not gonna get an opportunity like this every day. I might as well just go and have some fun, see what it's about. Worst case scenario, I make a dumbass of myself on YouTube, which I'm like, I'm already done. So
you can Google that. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, there's no losing here. I might as well go have fun. And that was the mindset. I was like, sure, let's go. Even though I really didn't think I was going to get anywhere. Because again, I'm not like a thrashy shredder in any capacity.
Yeah. The thing that blows my mind is thinking that you built this career out of it, and you had to get used to standing and playing guitar. It's the like the image I have in my head is the guitar guy. You've been on stage a million times because I've seen you play guitar millions of times, but it's not the same medium anymore.
Nope. It's awkward. I'm a taller dude too, so it's like it's just fucking weird. like I don't know. I'm a dude who grew up sitting in my chair and fucking playing guitar. It's just that's my comfort zone. That's it. So standing with it, like I can do it, like I did it there, right? But it's definitely uncomfortable. But yeah.
Alex Skolnick has some beautiful phrasing, though. Yeah, and I mean, legendary guy. So having to play shred in front of this guy who was renowned for it is pretty difficult.
I think that affected the other contestants a lot more than me. Not because I didn't think he was awesome. I like never listened to Testament really that much. So, I was like, oh, like cool. Like I've heard of Testament. I've heard like a song here and there. I was like, oh, cool. He's from Testament, right? Like, who would be the guy that would throw you off? Oh, actually, the dude from Dillinger was there. That actually threw me off more than Alex did. Weirdly enough, because I knew Dillinger a little bit more. But like, if someone from like Bullet or like As I Lay Dying, like those core bands I grew up with, I would have insta lost, because like there's no fucking way.
Nick from As I Lay Dying, just watching you try.
Yeah. Oh my fucking god, that would have fucked me. And again, not to like. And then it was funny, after the competition, I went to listen to Testament more. I was like, oh fuck, like this guy's crazy. Like he's really fucking good. It was like almost ignorance was bliss in that case. Like I knew of Testament, I knew of Alex, listened to a song here and there, but I didn't have, I think, as much of that like nervous effect around him than a lot of the other dudes, because they're all thrash dudes that listen the fuck out of him, listen the fuck out of Testament. So I think that like was a weird advantage for me.
Yeah. We have two more questions. I know we're running a little late. Manav says, if there was any other genre of music that you'd be making, which would it be?
Aside from metal, I guess, assuming, because I know metal, there's a lot of shit in metal. Aside from metal, probably pop, and I would make it like because I feel like you can, just like metal, and why I love metalcore is like you can do a lot with it if you want to, and be very creative and incorporate a lot of different influences. I feel like with pop, even though it's very basic, bitch, it's modern pop. it just people don't utilize as much, but you can do a lot of really weird stuff with it, and it sometimes hits if you do it proper. Like for example, like in pop, I could see like math rock stuff being involved in pop really soon, like the stuff Polyphia does and Khan, even though I know everyone hates when I call them math rock. That stuff, I can see that being infused with like a Post Malone track. And like, I'd love that. I'd love to even write that now. you know, like
speaking of Post Malone is a great reference because he's a fucking metalhead too, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So I could see that stuff easy. So I'd probably just be some basic bitch white, you know, fucking pop artist guy and just live it up and have some fun.
Have you experimented? Is there a random pop folder on the desktop kind of hidden away?
Pop specifically, most of my experimentation always lies with the metal being the medium in some way, even softer stuff. I've experimented with acoustic.
You have a lot of acoustic stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've experimented with that. I've experimented with trap because I'm doing a trap metal little EP. That's just memes. Like the lyrics are just going to be stupid fucking shit. That's kind of what I've experimented with a bit more, but never like a pure pop song, I'd say.
Nik did that multi-genre song.
Yeah, which again was still laced though in metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, there's I swear to God, I think I could sit here and talk to you for at least a few more hours about this stuff, and I do have a ton of other notes here that I would have loved to get to, but maybe we can set up a little Nik listens to the Middle East or something about that. I wanted to ask you if you winding down, if you've checked out anything from this side of the world, if you've heard any bands from here or anything like that, if you know about the scene here at all.
I don't know. That's the thing. I know there's a lot of scenes and people are very like into the scenes because they're proud of their scenes. Obviously, I'm like that. I'm very like, does this sound good? And then like ask questions like, oh, did this come from somewhere? Like, cool. Like, that's great. Like I'm on the forefront. Like, is this really cool? Because I know even now with metal, there's like, I could listen to a pure American band that sounds like a band from Japan, right? That has like anime everywhere and like all that stuff, but it's like a fully just American band. So I don't know. Maybe I have, but I definitely got to check it out some more. I know I've delved more into like the Japan stuff because they're very into metalcore now, and like Australian stuff, same thing, metalcore. But I feel like I had to have at some point, but I probably just didn't notice where it was from. Yeah.
Like you said, it's one of those things where we don't necessarily care where the bands, like it doesn't make a difference, but because we have that like that weird we weren't allowed to do this, and we try to rock that flag a little harder. Last question from the question box. Question to both of you: how does this affect life outside of work? So how has making the videos, doing the Twitch streams, making sure Instagram's right, reacting to every single song that comes out, trying to do the covers, what is the toll?
This is my life outside of work. It's the best answer I could probably give you. This is it, man. This is what I live, breathe, and fucking die for. Like I'd do this all day no matter what. It's fun. Like in terms of things I do completely outside of this, maybe gaming still a little, exercising, watching stuff with my girlfriend. This is my life though. Like this is all of it basically. Everyone, the internet sees it at this point.
Yeah, and from my perspective, to answer your question, Manav, it's exactly the same. I love doing this. I think I've learned more about myself talking to people, and having you guys in chat and stuff than I ever have in 33 years. I have a kid and I have a wife, so outside of being here, I spend time with them. But this is kind of it. This is where I hang out. Like I used to be, like Nik said, you weren't the party guy necessarily, but I was the guy that's in a band that gets drunk after the show, that is on the bar trying to pour Jägermeister in the guitarist's mouth. Like that was kind of my thing. But since then, it all kind of funneled into this one moment where we had the kid, a brand new baked human being. It was lockdown. and I had all this equipment from film production. I was like, maybe I should just look into this. And from that little like, maybe I should just look into this, I found this entire other world that I wouldn't fucking swap out for anything right now. Mm. It's pretty fucking insane. Ramstein enters the chat. Manav says Indian bands are bloody sick as well. Very underrated. Yes, absolutely. I don't know. Do you want to hear a Middle Eastern band before we go? We play one song and we call it quits and head over to Julian's. Let me figure out how to do this. 1 second. All right. Look at this.
The tech side. Oh, look at the sick, dude.
We got this, and then I could do the. I have it already set up. It's called Caleb, Spotify. Boom.
You got to get on this professional, dude. This is insane.
I'll hook you up with whatever you need, dude.
Okay. mods, let's go.
I've got this down to a science now, and the reason is because not only did I come from a production background, but like I was telling you before we started streaming, I don't play music very well. I scream, but I can't play guitar. So I have to, the bells and whistles have to do
the bells and whistles.
I'm gonna play you a track by a Dubai-based band called Coat of Arms.
Awesome.
They're the reason I chose this band is because thinking about it while we were talking, they're probably the only or one of very few White Morgue as well. Modern metal sounding bands from the side of the world. So it's I'd love to get your take on it. And you can shit on them because the guys are in the chat. So it'll be
perfect.
We'll kill the background music. Let's play Your Kind. It's a 3-minute track. We're good to go. It's brand new as well, so we're keeping it true to the Friday streams. And just wait, let me show you this, just so you see the old guard. And we were talking about the old farts. If you look right here, oh shit, I can't even show you. It says now playing Enter Sandman by Metallica. Just just to keep on brand. That's exactly what I was playing right before this.
Perfect.
All right, here we go. You can tell me volume up or down. I have your monitor mix sent out as well.
See, I need to learn this shit.
Wait, let me actually, speaking of this, let me just make sure that I
got to learn how to do this stuff.
I send it to you without any noise gate or noise reduction, so it doesn't glitch out. There we go. Okay, cool. Sweet. Here we go. Oh, wait. Sorry about that. Chat can't hear it. Spotify. There we go. Now you guys can. Cool. I fucked that one up. My bad.
Good riff. That's a good start. Back to switch up. Nice halftime with some ambience. Pre-chorus, assuming? Yep. That's a good hook.
all self-produced, self-recorded, self-mixed kind of band.
All right, gonna get a nice smasheroo.
Who spun the Wheel of Death halfway through that? You guys, we're not doing Wheel of Death today.
Fun little crappy EDM outro. That was solid as fuck. That was solid.
Immediate reaction to the first, possibly the first Dubai/Abu Dhabi band you've heard. Why is this? Who's spinning the Wheel of Death, you guys?
I never would have guessed that. I just would have been like, oh, here's just like another USA band. Like I never would have guessed that. Like that was crystal. That was clean. I love the verses. I love the riffs. Good chorus. It wasn't too jagged or shocking. Good melodies. Fun breakdown. Just screams. The screams were nice, but just like more versatility, more variety would have been fun. Just like to like make it always extra exciting, and that's something I'm big on. It's just like extra layers, because the parts can be great as long as you keep building and building all that energy. And then adding a bit more of that, the different layers of like even just vocals through some of the verses, I think just would have like pumped it up just even more. And that's basically it. That was a great track. Fucking no complaints, man. Good shit.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, there you guys go. Why is... Oh, it's on all the windows. That's why. Okay, never mind. Stop spinning the Wheel of Death. I'm not going to do a shot of hot sauce, you guys. But dude, thank you so much. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for the conversation and being so open and it's a 2-hour conversation. It's no fucking joke. Thank you for dedicating that time. I know how valuable that time is. And dude, I'd love to have you on again. Maybe do a Middle East metal kind of reaction thing, or just introduce you to some bands, or do just have you on for more, because we have so much fucking more points that I want to go over.
Dude, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure hanging out and chatting and get to know you better and talking metal and talking shit.
Hell yeah. Well, this podcast will be up on all the podcast stuff, the Apple Podcast, Spotify, all those guys, and on YouTube tomorrow morning, my time. And yeah, the shout out to each and every single one of you guys in the chat. Don't go anywhere. We will be rating a homie of ours, Julian Gorilla, that's going to be playing Nick's playlist. We're going to be listening to the modern metal playlist and checking out some stuff. Usually what we do here on the channel, Nick, is I say to officially end the episode, I like to have the guests say, hit the outro. But since we talked about your intro and outro, maybe we should do a classic Nick YouTube outro followed by hit the outro to officially end the episode, because those things are magic. The rap god, there you go.
The rap god. Oh man.
So whenever you're ready, whenever you feel like it, no pressure. No. Whenever you're ready, this is the end of it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and don't go anywhere. Stick around for the raid.
You got Patreon. You got what else? I got you. I'm gonna hit you all your socials, bro. I got you. Don't worry.
Patreon, Instagram, and Twitch. That's all we're rocking right now.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day. I want to give special thanks to a few of my Patreon supporters. Much love to you guys. If you want to become a Patreon, be sure to hit that right there, that button right there, exclamation Patreon right down there. Also, you're watching me on Twitch, so be sure to follow it right there. You see this button right there? Follow it up on Twitch. You don't want to miss an episode. You're going to miss out. And follow me on Insta because Insta's great for taking butt pictures. Let's do it. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You got to say hit the outro.
Hit the outro. I missed